What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I would like to welcome you all to another edition of Wayne's Perspective, where we operate in discipline, decency, integrity, and respect. And I'm coming through with another video just for you. And as you look at the title, yeah, this one is going to be an interesting one, and I couldn't wait to get to it. So, no intro is needed, but let's go ahead and get this one started. Now, initially, I was going to do this one as a reaction video because as I do this video, it is May 30th, 2024. And like I said, I was going to do a reaction video, but I was like, no, the clip was too short. So rather than do that per se, I was like, no, I'm going to do a full-fledged video on this one with my thoughts. And as you look at the title, you should know what this one is about. Now, is it a real popular topic right now? No, but again, when I saw this video on YouTube, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this one on my channel. So we're going to go ahead and get right to it. So, I mean, the title speaks for itself, y'all. So my fellas, pull up a chair so y'all can join me on this one. And the ladies, y'all can come along too, because this is for y'all just as much as it is for the men. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, simply put, in general, ladies, us as men, black men in particular, we don't care about what y'all make at work. You know, Not trying to be harsh, not trying to be disrespectful, but that's just the way that it is. We don't care about how much you make at work, no matter where you work. And this video, from my perspective, we're going to talk a little further into that. I'm going to come with everything that I have for this one. Now, it's important to me and important to most men, specifically my brothers, that a woman works. Now, men of any type of stature, and we're not even talking about no low value, high value thing. Men of any stature in general does not want to be involved with a woman who doesn't have anything going on for herself, and at worst doesn't work anywhere. We're just not gonna associate ourselves with that for a variety of reasons. And if you start listening to men more, you will probably know that. But within recent times, we don't hear that much regarding, you know, women that's actually literally broke talking about they want a high value man or something like that. Now, if they do, and if something out there like that exists, they're delusional. But I want to start with that basic thing. It is important to us that a woman works. Now, other brothers, and other men may not care, so to speak, mainly if they're making a certain amount of money. But overall, I guarantee you, if there's some type of polling on this, I guarantee you most men will probably prefer that they have a woman who works. Now, speaking of which, I may be getting off subject a little bit, but since I mentioned women working, let me go ahead and talk a little bit about, some that's personal. I try not to interject too many personal things on my channel for obvious reasons, but, I got a little story I'm going to share, and I'm going to share a small one later, but I think this one may be a little relevant to what I'm talking about here. So now, as you know, if you've been following me since I created this channel, I told you all that I've been married before. I was married for 4 years. I was married to the mother of my son, who is 17. And as y'all know, he's going to turn 18 on September 21st. Now, the reason that that union ended pretty much was irreconcilable differences. She wanted out. So that's that. Now, what I didn't disclose at the time that I first mentioned that on my channel, as well as other videos that I've done, is that, I did the blended family thing at a young age. Not only did I accept her and her three girls, from a previous marriage. So before me, she was married before, I was her second marriage. Okay. So we got married in August of 2005. Now, at this point, y'all, I was 21. I was real young, to take on those type of responsibilities. And my son, he was born on September 21st, 2006. So I had a lot going on for myself at my young age. Now 39-year-old me pushing 40, I will make different choices today, you know, but I digress. But I'm bringing all this up because I want to focus on the girl's dad. Now, I'm not sure how many brothers have went through this, but you know, if you do, you probably get what I'm saying. So like I said, she had three girls from a previous marriage, and when I met her in November of 2004, they were mad young. I think the oldest was 5, the middle one was 3, and the youngest was 2. You know, so of course, you know, me being so young when I met her and all this other stuff, of course, you know, me not knowing any better, I allowed myself to be gaslit, you know. Well, when I was with him, he did this. When I was with him, he did that. um he made me feel this way, he made me feel that way. So you know, basically this gassed me up. Now fellas, if you've been there, especially at a certain age, you know what I'm talking about. You know, when you just getting into a relationship with a lady and y'all clicking, and she talks about what the previous boyfriend did or something like that. Not saying that you want to lay hands on the guy, but she got you gassed up like, damn, you know, like how could he do such a thing? How could he treat her like this? How could he do this and that? And then the more you gaslit, it's more like, okay, so when I if slash when I see this guy, is it going to be a problem? You know, now that type of behavior. Let me tell y'all what type of behavior that is. Let me share some with y'all right quick. Take a look at that. That's simp behavior. Now, what I want y'all to do, fellas, and even some of the ladies, if y'all want to, I want y'all to screenshot that. You know, do I want that to go viral? Yes, because a lot of people tend to ask, what is a simp or what does simp mean? I created that. Sad, insignificant man personified. Okay, so we're going to keep that up on the screen. Like I said, I'm going to give y'all mad time to screenshot that and post that everywhere because this is what a simp is. Okay. And as I continue the story, you're going to see that I simp too. Most of us men have simp. But the important thing is learning how not to do that, learning from your mistakes so you don't go on through the rest of your life being a simp. And like I said, just bear with me. I'm gonna get back on topic, but I want to share this with y'all because I'm making my point. I may put this in the community section too, you know, because admittedly, I do want that to go viral because that right there, you get asked many times, what is a simp? That's a simp right there. So getting back on topic. Now, when it came to the girl's dad, you know, anytime he called the house, you know, I would always answer the phone with an attitude. Sometimes I wouldn't answer the phone. And if I did answer the phone, like I said, it would be with an attitude, but I would just, you know, like get all of this guy's case for nothing. Like, and I look back on that now, it's like, Wayne, he just called to talk to his daughters. He ain't called to talk to you, son, you know? So, you know, so then, you know, if in the off chance that he came around, y'all, I just gave him the cold shoulder. I didn't have anything to say to him. You know, I kind of mean mugged him a little bit. There was a couple of notable things that happened too. So I want to say it was in 2007. um my wife at the time, she had a birthday party, and I think the birthday party may have been for either the oldest daughter or the middle daughter, and he came up from Georgia to attend, you know. Now initially I was totally against him coming into the house, you know, but at the end of the day, she made the call to let him come, you know. So now I don't know if you would say that that's simpish or not, but then again, it's not about me, it's about the daughters. But at the same time, I know you're probably going to be like, but Wayne, that's your house. So how do you thread the needle between, you know, me putting my foot down and saying that the girl's dad can't come, or just, you know, allowing him to come, but at the same time, just realizing that it's not about me, it's about the girls. You see what I'm saying? So that entire time, I remember when he was there, you know, I was in a funky mood. You know, I don't think anybody else realized it, but I was not in a good mood. And to his credit, the guy tried to have a conversation with me, and I just brushed him off, like, you know, like, dude, get away from me. I don't got nothing to say to you, you know. And again, that's simpish. It is simpish, and it's also not manly because, you know, okay, you may not agree with certain things, or you may have been gaslit by certain things, but you know, the least you can do is have an adult conversation with another grown ass man. You know, you don't, you know, brush people off like that. And with all due respect, that's kind of a female thing too. You know, you don't want to act like that because that's a female trait. You know, women, I'm pretty sure y'all do that, you know. So, but again, you know, he tried a couple of times to have a conversation with me. He even spoke. He was like, "Hey, man," you know, and I just didn't say anything, you know. And then a short time, not that long after was, one of my great aunts. She pulled me to the side, I had a little conversation. She was like, Lil Wayne, I'm gonna tell you this, when you get a chance, I want you to have a conversation with that guy, see where that guy's head is, talk to him, see what he's about. And I just let it go in one ear and out the other. I wasn't trying to hear that. And as it turns out, later down the road, I would realize that she was right about that. I should have had a conversation with him, a man-to-man conversation, and maybe, just maybe, you know, he could have put me up on game in terms of just who the hell I married, that sort of thing. But continuing on with the story, I'm getting to my point, y'all. So there was another time when he came down, and I think he was either visiting the girls or he was going to take them back to Georgia. Now this time was at my then wife's mother's house. So he came in there and he was sitting. I think he was holding the youngest one, the baby. He was holding her, and I had wanted to hold her. This was just me, just being a straight up jackass, y'all. And I look back on that, I'm like, really, Wayne? That is not you. You was real out of character. So I attempted to like take her out his hands, and hold her myself. And he pretty much, called me out. He was like, no, I'm holding her, no, don't be disrespectful, and just looking back at that right now through almost 40-year-old lens. And it's like, was I really going to get the scrapping with this dude over nothing? Was we going to be in the grandmother's house fighting over nothing, something that I initiated? And again, look at the screen, simp. I was acting like a true ass simp and didn't even realize it, y'all. So that was that. Thankfully that was, we didn't come to blows or anything like that. And I think that was in 2008 or something like that. So we're gonna fast forward to 2009. So I didn't talk about this on the channel pretty much, and most likely I'm not. But the summer of 2009 was my worst summer ever. We was going through a separation, which eventually led to a divorce. I got terminated from my job and stuff like that. I had to go back home and live with my mom for a little bit. So a lot of things were happening real fast, like in front of my face, and I couldn't do a damn thing about it. So actually, the ladies might say that this is karma. We're going what I'm about to talk about. Now, the fellas will probably say it could be a case of karma, and it also could be a case of me just humbling myself and learning from my mistakes. So what I did that summer, I believe it was, like I said, this was 2009. So this had to have been either July or August. So I had his phone number. One time when I was at my ex-wife's mom's house, I got the guy's number off the caller ID. Yeah, I remember caller ID. This was a thing. So I wrote the number down because I had it in my mind that I was going to give him a call off the record. So one time I gave him a call, his sister answered the phone, and I left a message with her. I was like, this is Wayne. Tell your brother I called him. Ask him to give me a call when he get a chance. And stuff like that. So a few days after the fact, he reached out to me. And when I came on the phone, the tone of his voice was like he wasn't so sure why I was calling, but he knew something was up. And I'm paraphrasing here. So basically, y'all, I apologized to him. I said that, you know, I apologize for the way that I treated you. I had no right to act the way that I did. I was pretty much being gaslit by my ex-wife. I never meant no harm. I never meant to treat you with any kind of disrespect. So from one man to another, I apologize to you. And he was like, and I kid y'all not, y'all. This almost made me tear up then because of the sheer gravity and everything. But he said, and I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, Wayne, say no more. For one thing, I accept your apology because I know a real apology when I hear one. And he also said, you don't have to say no more. Already knew where you're coming from. Already knew why you was acting the way you was acting. I hold no grudges against you or anything. I know exactly why you was acting, And I was standing there in the floor. I was like, wow, I had a moment because all that time, and we talking about a few years at that point, all that time, he knew why I was acting the way I was acting. He knew it from jump, y'all. And that still stands out to me to this day. I was acting like a true jackass to this guy, never gave him a chance, and I was acting like a true simp, you know, taking the woman's account on everything and not getting his side, you know. So that was a good moment, you know, and from there it made me look at things a little differently, you know. So man, I still remember that conversation. He, you know, and just the mere fact that he said, you know, I accept your apology. I know a real apology when I hear one. And he holds no grudges, and he knew exactly why I was acting the way that I was acting. And man, I can only imagine the conversation that he was having with his family about how I was acting. I could only imagine, y'all. But again, you know, definitely a moment and stuff like that. So then what happened after that was a couple of months later in Thanksgiving 2009, I had went to my ex-wife's grandma, or should I say my son's grandma on their family side. I went to go and pick him up, you know, to bring him back home for Thanksgiving. And the girl's dad, he was there because he was picking the girls up to take back to Georgia. So when I saw him, I shook his hand. You know, we had a nice little conversation and stuff like that. Now my son's grandmother, she was in the kitchen looking like, wow, I can't believe what I'm seeing, because she knew the animosity. And let's keep it clear, y'all. The animosity was one-sided. That guy never held no grudge against me. He didn't do nothing to me, you know, and vice versa. But she was surprised to see it because she knew what the tension was, you know, the animosity was, even though it was one-sided. So she was real shocked to see that. So before I left with my son, we went outside and we had a man-to-man talk. You know, he wanted to know how I was doing, and I was like, man, you know, I'm going through it. I'm, you know, separated and stuff like that. You know, I'm doing fine, but you know, I'm just going through a line. He was like, I can tell, you know, and then he just, you know, further put me to the side. You know, he was like, brother, you just may have to move on and start over. I know it may be hard, but you know, you just may have to do that. Now, at the time, that did not go in one ear and out the other. It took me a while to move on and you know, find somebody new, and eventually it did happen. And I'm going to cover that later. But he was right, you know. And then he also said something that stuck with me, and we was just talking about women in general, but I think he probably was alluding to something that he experienced with her too. He was like, you know, just make sure that whatever woman you get, make sure she got a job. I can't do a woman who don't work. I can't do a woman who don't want to work and stuff like that. Just make sure you do that. And that stuck with me too. I was like, I understand where he's coming from. And he wasn't coming from a disrespectful sort of way, I mean, a disrespectful place rather. But he was like, no, you know, I don't want to deal with a woman who don't work. And that brings me full circle here. You know, it's important, dare I say essential, that a woman works, you know, contributions to the household, you know, especially when there's a household where there's children. You definitely want two working parents. Now, I don't necessarily subscribe to the idea that men can be stay-at-home parents while the woman works. I mean, if it works for some people, that's fine. I don't think I would be accepting to that. I got to be doing something, and I don't want the woman down the line to even get the hint of resenting me or feeling a certain way because she working hard and I'm just sitting at home doing whatever, you know, and you know, and this could be with or without kids. You know, you just never know what the dynamics could be. But I say all that to say that it's important that a woman works because, you know, it's equal contributions here. And then flip that around, you know, if there's a man, you know, working and the woman is at home, you know, again, if that's working for some people, shout out to y'all. But that's just not my thing. And I think most men, you know, are not going to subscribe to that, no matter how much money you're making and no matter how much you got in the bank, you know. So that's my view on that. Y'all can let me know what y'all think about a woman working versus a woman not working, especially in the case if the man is bringing home a solid salary. You know what I'm saying? So I hope y'all stuck around for that story, and I just wanted to share it with y'all. So, you know, definitely I was a simp, a heavy simp, and even after the fact, I simp too. But that's a whole nother story, you know. But you know, I just wanted to share this. So continuing on, like the title says, you know, men do not care about how much money a woman makes. So now men generally do not pocket watch women. Okay, that's just how it is. You know, fellas, I know we can all, you know, testify to this. We're busy trying to maintain and grow our own paper. So, with all due respect, ladies, we're not in y'all purses like that. I mean, that's just something that we don't do. You know, we don't we don't go that route because at the end of the day, what you make and what you bring home, especially if we're not with you or anything like that, that's none of our business. And really flip that around when it comes to the men, it's none of y'all business how much we bring it home either. That's just the way it goes. That's reality. You know, anybody will see that. So I just wanted to make that clear. You know, men, we don't pocket watch women like that, but they damn sure pocket watch us, y'all. You know, and we've been seeing it on these internet waves and social media waves for the last few years. And that attitude and things related, you know, that has two things involved, so to speak: social media and reality TV. That's why we got all this now, you know, where you got women pretty much saying, if you don't make a certain amount of money, you can't date me or you can't talk to me. I mean, what the hell? You know, like I said, I blame that on social media and I blame that on reality TV. And without those, you know, we probably wouldn't be in this mess right now. And it's going to take some time to for us to also get on the same page and be in lockstep with each other. We can still have agreements and disagreements, but we don't need this gender war like we're seeing now. You know, I mean, come on. And speaking of attitude, that brings me to my next point. So, fellas, y'all can back me up on this. And ladies, I want y'all to hear this. It's all about the attitude. It's all about the attitude. Check this here. Who do you think a man is more likely to choose and put in his life? A woman making $35,000 a year with a good attitude, or a woman who makes $750,000 a year with a not so pleasant attitude? And let me keep it real, y'all. I'm saying not so pleasant attitude to keep from saying stank attitude. Think about that for a second. Who you think a man is more likely to pick? You know, I mean, it's a no-brainer to me. And even then, you know, now if a man looks at that and say, okay, I'll put up with the attitude if the shorty bringing in $750,000 a year, that's bad thinking, you know, because if you're making way less than her, that's going to be a problem too, because she's going to want you at that. Okay, depending on the woman, she's going to want you at that level or higher. I mean, it's no secret, you know, but the attitude is not worth putting up with that, y'all. And I think I've said before on this very channel, and other people have said it. You could be the finest woman in the world. You could be a perfect 10 across the board. But if your attitude is funky, that cancels out everything. Everything. And men, we see it. We see it online every day. You know, they call us visual creatures. That's what we are. And that's what we're going to always be. So, ladies, remember that it's all about the attitude. You know, accepting you for you. All right. You know, okay, that may be the case in some respects, but we don't have to accept a bad attitude. You know, we just don't. And just to piggyback on what I said a few moments ago about the whole thing about if you don't make this amount of money or if you don't make that amount of money, you know, you can't talk to me. That is such a high level of arrogance and entitlement that I've never seen before. And it's mind-boggling when I see that. And let me tell y'all something else. In a well, my number one turn off when it comes to a woman is smoking. I don't care if it's cigarettes, marijuana, whatever the case may be. That's my number one turn off in terms of a woman. Secondly, the next thing that turns me off regarding a woman is arrogance. I do not like an arrogant woman. Arrogance does not look good on women. Just like what's that word? What's that word I'm looking for? It's common. Aggression. Most men, we don't like aggressive women in and outside the bedroom. And we don't like an entitled, arrogant woman either. And just to see women, some of them our sisters online making such comments like that with such arrogance and entitlement, like just don't bother coming to me if you don't make a certain amount of money. Is just crazy to me. You know, I mean, you say it on this podcast, you say it on that podcast, this platform, that platform. You're going on Kendra G show saying it. You're going on the Pop the Balloon show saying it, and everywhere else just making it clear. And in the meantime, behind the scenes and all that stuff, man, we're watching. We're watching and we're seeing everything. What Willie D say? Game recognized game. I wrote the book. That's exactly what he said in 1991. And that's exactly what we're doing now. So ladies, y'all got to fix that, you know. And continuing on here, we're not intimidated by your salary or intimidated by a woman who makes a lot of money. I've seen that on online recently too, and I think that includes the video that I looked at today. I mean, with all due respect, why would we be intimidated by how much you make? If anything, going back to that example that I mentioned, a woman who's bringing in $750,000 a year, most men would look at that and be like, "Damn, that's impressive. What you doing to bring in that kind of bread? I mean, what you doing to get that? And I'm pretty sure she would be in some type of leadership position or doing something that's, real lucrative and things like that. We wouldn't be intimidated by that or scared of that. We would be, celebratory, my woman is in this tax bracket, so to speak. We would be congratulatory, much success to you, keep doing your thing. Hopefully at a certain point you can flip that 750K a year to $1 million a year. That's what we would say. We're not going to be intimidated by it. And let me share this brief example. In my last relationship, the relationship I was in after the one that I was in with my son's mother, she made more money than me, and I wasn't intimidated by that or anything. I didn't feel a certain way. She was making that kind of bread before I came along, and if I had to take a guess, all things considered, she may still be in that same tax bracket now or a little bit higher. I don't know, obviously, but that's the thing here. So, ladies, we're not intimidated by that. And then again, why would we be intimidated by that? If you do make more than us, so what? That's on you. Do your thing. More power to you. But we're not intimidated. Come on now. So I just wanted to make that point clear. Now, let me make some additional points because I'm verbally I'm on a roll, y'all. And if you're still listening, I appreciate it. Now, let me make some additional points. Now, fellas, imagine if for 1 minute men were making the slightest inquiry about a woman's salary. Can you imagine what the response would be if we started doing some mess like that, or if we was doing some stuff like that? Why you all in my pockets? Why you want to know how much money I make? Are you my boyfriend? Are you my fiance? Are you my husband? What gives you the right to ask about how much I make? Blah, 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 blah. We would get it, but they freely, require six figures and all this other stuff that comes with it. Like I said, the response would be crazy. We would see it every day. There would be countless videos about it, I mean, come on now. And ladies, y'all know it too. Y'all know y'all would get offended in a heartbeat if a man stepped to y'all or step to y'all asking what y'all make or something like that, or get on a podcast or whatever saying a woman got to make this amount of money, and if she don't get no parts of me. Can you imagine what the response would be in reverse? It would be insane, and guarantee you I'll probably be on my channel talking about it too. So like I said, just imagine that for a bit. It would be very, very interesting. And then next up, okay, fellas, let me talk to y'all again. Keep it with the fellas and ladies. I know y'all still here listening, so just let's keep this going. So now, imagine if doing a gathering with the fellas, like a men's night out or something like that. Okay, one of the men asks his good friend how things going at home, specifically when it comes to his wife getting a promotion at work and trying to adjust to all of the changes and stuff like that. Now, he's going to make some general comments saying things are straight and that she's handling things well without going into how much she makes or how much the raise was, because really that's personal information. So no self-respecting man is going to be at a table with the fellas, regardless of how long he's known them, talking about, that type of financial status or that type of financial information. We just not going to do it, So I say all that to say that if that was to happen, the fellas more than likely will congratulate him. They'll offer a toast to more success, and they'll move on to talking about something else. Plain and simple. You see how that works? That's exactly how we would move verbally in a situation like that. Now, flip that around. Let's say doing a girls' trip to London. Sisters, check this out. Fellas, y'all let me know what y'all think. Okay, doing a girls' trip to London, right? A woman's best friend forever, or BFF, randomly asks her how things going at home, plus how much her husband is bringing home after taxes. Like I said, all this will be incredibly random because most women are random as hell. I've learned that within recent years, and some people celebrate that shit too. So she asks how things going at home randomly, and asks how much her husband is bringing home after taxes. Not only would the wife mention the exact number, but the BFF would make some slick comments about it, followed by the other ladies making similar comments. Y'all know the drill. Well, damn girl, you making this amount of money, he making this. He either need to step his game up or pick up another job so he can match that. That's unacceptable in my eyes, girl. Y'all know we would get those talking points. And then furthermore, the one voice of reason at the table, she's drowned out by everybody else because everybody else is making their slick comments, and the wife is just sitting there absorbing all of this. But like I said, the one voice of reason at the table, she can't even get her point in, and more than likely that voice of reason, she's probably married. But then again, you can get into the whole thing about, okay, if she's married, what's she doing on the girls trip? This is just an example, y'all, but it could easily be real life, either real life in a sense that it could be happening with somebody right now, or you could see it on reality TV, even though that's not real life. But just bear with me. So after all that, next thing you know, the wife is at the table feeling a certain kind of way. She's able to enjoy the rest of the trip, but when she gets home, her attitude towards her husband is based solely on that conversation she had with the ladies at the table. And keep in mind, she didn't feel that way before she left home. Now the husband is trying his best to figure out what the hell is going on because of the mood shift. Next thing you know, the brother being served with divorce papers within 48 or 72 hours. And what's the reason? The amount of money you're making is not good enough for me. I need a man that's high value. I need a man who can take care of me. I need a man who can provide and protect, and all that other nonsense we hear today. Never mind the fact that they probably been married for at least 10 years at that point, maybe have a child or two. So you're gonna upend your marriage based solely on the conversation that you had at the table with the girls doing a girls trip. Don't think that shit wouldn't happen, because it probably would. So I say all that to say that, ladies, hear me out and hear the rest of the brothers out there when they tell y'all. And again, this is not coming from a place of disrespect. It's definitely not coming from a place of jealousy, but we do not care about how much money y'all make. If y'all make less than us, that's fine. If y'all make equal to what we make, that's fine. If y'all make more than what we make, that's fine. It is no big deal. The only time it becomes a big deal is when you try to use that to your advantage and try to use that for leverage to get whatever it is that you're seeking to get. That's the only time when something like that becomes an issue. Otherwise, it's not. Just like in general, we don't care how many degrees y'all have. You can have a bachelor's, master's, doctorates, all that stuff. It's impressive, but that's not something that we look at with these glowing eyes, like wow, like I said, we're impressed by it, but still we don't care about that in general. It's nice, it's always nice to have a solid resume, a respective resume, but come on now, we just don't look at things like that. And it's also not hurtful, but it'll also create some tension where it don't need to be tension when you try to force that onto the fellas. I mean, we just don't look at certain things like that. We just don't. And the quicker y'all realize that, along with everything else, we'll be on our way. We'll be on our way to being in lockstep with each other, like a stable community should be. We will be on the same page, even with our disagreements. Things will be better, and we wouldn't have this dynamic that we have now. We just wouldn't have it that way. So man, I hope the fellas subscribe to this, because I know most of them do. Ladies, I hope this touches y'all too, because this is just one way of letting y'all know where men come from when it comes to that. We don't pocket watch like that. We just don't. Y'all pocket watch, but we don't. And we're never going to get into a point where we're pocket watching like that, because why should we? And it shouldn't be a situation where it's okay for the women to pocket watch, but the moment we pocket watch in any type of form, that's when it becomes a problem. Shouldn't be like that. We got to do better. And hopefully, as these years go by, we will do better, with time and perspective and conversation. That's all I got to say about that. So, man, if you like what you heard and you're ready to become part of Team Discipline, go ahead and hit that like button. And definitely, when it comes to a topic like this, definitely let me know what you think. Not just the fellas, but the sisters too. Let me know what y'all think. And last but not least, hit that subscribe button along with the bell so you're notified when I drop new videos. And until next time, my people, take care of yourselves. And remember two things. Number one, the power of the mind is valuable. And number two, KRS said it best in 1988 on the classic My Philosophy. It's not about a salary. It's all about reality. Take care, y'all.